When a subsummary report includes a body part with a lot of records, sometimes the records spill onto a second page. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell what subsummary part the records belong to without flipping back to the previous page so you can see the subsummary heading. Conditional subsummaries use a calculation in the header part to solve that problem. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a report that shows all the invoices by customer. And when a person has a lot of invoices and it spills over to it, and in fact, they don't even have to have a lot, it just has to spill over to the second page. We're going to make it so you can see the header in the header part, see that conditional subsummary, that subsummary part from the previous page. Before we do that, though, I noticed a mistake. When you create a new invoice, notice that the picker's gone. It should not be gone. In fact, I'd really like it, prefer it right over here, too. So we'll swap the spots here and then take off the hide object here. So we can see the picker, so we can pick somebody if there's no invoice, there's nobody in the, otherwise it was only showing up when we had somebody picked. Because it had the same hide object as this, I duplicated this button, that's why that happened. So I just want to fix that little problem there. I'll delete this record. And then we'll come in here and we'll find a report we're going to duplicate. I think it's going to be this dynamic report. Yeah, it's got a subsummary by products and a subsummary by customers. Good. So we'll duplicate this layout. Call it, oops, see if I can select that correctly. Conditional invoices. We'll take off this part. Double click on this one. Back before we do that, let's go into the layout setup. Change this to show invoices. So the invoices conditional report. Get the spelling correct. There we go. Get the copy out of there. Now we can come in here and change this to invoices. Customer's ID. There we go. Change this to customers invoices, which will be up at the top here. And we don't really necessarily need these totals here. I'm going to change this to a body part. Let me get this. I want to make it simple here. We don't need all this stuff on this. Just a simple report to show how conditional subsummaries work. Then the body part, we can see the date posted, but that'll be from invoices. And I don't know that we need a price or a trailing grand summary, so I'll get rid of that. Just to keep it simple so you know exactly what's going on here. So I think we have everything set up correctly here. Looks pretty good. Now what we're going to do is add in our fields. There are going to be 3 fields. The first one is going to be record number. That'll be a calculation field. And we're simply going to do get record number. And you'll see why this is. This will draw out the record number of how the records are organized, showing right there in that whatever sort order or found set we have. Because we need to determine what's the smallest record number and the largest record, or well, in this case, really the smallest record number in that subsummary is. And you'll see how that works. We're going to go to storage options to do not store because it's has no field to update this calculation. So we need to make sure that whenever we change that sort order or that found set, that this updates. We need to have that unstored option right there. Then we're going to make our min. So we'll say record num min. That'll be a summary field. And that'll be the minimum of the record number. So that's going to give us the minimum record number. So if we take a look at these fields on there, you'll see what's going on. We have one more field to put in there, but let's take a look real quick here. So we're going to put in record number. Make it a little bit smaller. Oops. A little bit smaller. I think it's in general format. That's good. And then record number min. And then duplicate it and put it up in the subsummary part. Let's take a look at this. We'll go into browse mode, then we'll sort it by KF customers ID, which is correct, good. You'll see that in the sub-summary part, the minimum record equals the minimum. The record number equals the minimum. You can see that the minimum is the same all the way down here through the body part, but instead of 12 here, that's the maximum. You can see here in this one, 13 equals 13, 14 equals 14. So what we want to do is use that knowledge when we go past a page. So if we preview this, right, we'll see that here, 15 equals 15, good. But when we go to here, 32 does not equal 1. So this minimum is grabbing the minimum from back here. We should say right here. It doesn't have, you don't see it here. Let me put it in the up here in this part right here, because then you'll see it. Preview it again. You'll see that, well, the minimum is going to be there. There's no sub-summary part to display it, but the minimum is going to be 1 here, or actually it's going to be 15 if it displayed. So it would show a 15 there. 15 does not equal 32. So that's why we're going to go ahead and compare these two. But to compare them, we need to put it inside of a calculation. We're going to say conditional header. That'll be a calculation. Create that. We'll say case, open paren, does record num equal record num min. Now, once we put a summary field, as we discussed before, once we put it inside a calculation, in order for it to obey the sub-summary part, we have to put it inside of a getSummary function. And then choose the field that we're using as the sub-summary break field, or the sort. And we're actually going to change this to not equal. So when they're not equal to each other, I want you to come up with customers invoices, the name, company, and then put in continued here. Otherwise, I want a null result and a text result, of course. So that's what's going to be our condition right there. So we'll come in here, put our condition. In fact, we'll just put it right in there. Insert that conditional header. That looks good. Make this a little bit bigger just in case it's a long company name. And then preview it. You see it's blank here because this sub-summary part right here is not breaking through there, not going to the next page. But this one is for AK Construction Company. And you can see now it says continue. So we could put this anywhere we want. In fact, we could just take this maybe and write justified so it stands out more. See, that looks a little bit better. And now you can see without flipping to the previous page that these 3 remaining records are from AK Construction Company, and that continue tells you that that's happening. So you can put anything you want here. You've got a calculation here. So let's make a script for this. Go over to our invoices form into browse mode. Go into our scripts. And let's see, let's take this one. We'll duplicate, actually going to take this really simple one here. That's not so simple. Let's use this one. We'll duplicate this one. Oops, got to duplicate it down here. Conditional. Okay, so we don't need to worry about that. We can use this. We can put any kind of date range we want in there. I could change it to the whole year if we wanted to. So we could say date month -1. And then this one would be -1 here. Actually, we don't even need the -1 here, so we'll take that out. So that should give us the previous year all the way to today, just as the default. We don't need the X body here, so we'll get rid of that. We'll still go to the date range so we can fill that out, but we're reusing that card window, just putting in different default values. Go to the correct layout. That should be way down here at the bottom. Enter find mode should be the same. No invoices sold. There we go. That looks good. We don't need this anymore. We're just going to do a regular sort. And it's right in there because that's the last sort that we did. Print setup, enter preview, all that should work. So let's see how it works. We're going to put it inside our custom menus here. Go to our reports menu. Duplicate that one, call it conditional report. Tell it to run that conditional report script. There it is right there. Okay, turn on those menus right now. Oops, we want actually the dynamic ones. Choose that. Looks like we have start date, end date. So we got those reversed. So let's go ahead and we got some problems here. No problem. We can fix that. So I don't need to reverse these, but I'm going to do that just so it makes more sense when you're reading it. There, that's good. And then there was some errors when doing the find. Let's see. There it is. Not invoices line, but invoices. There we go. That should fix everything. Let's try it one more time. Okay, the date range looks better. Hit continue. You get that. Now, of course, it's showing less records than we want, so I'm going to show all records and then sort it again so we can see that it did work. And you can see there's that continuation when we go to the next page. So, conditional subsummary reports, all you need is a record number, a summary that finds the minimum, and then a calculation that determines whether that minimum is on that page or not. And then you can put in anything. In fact, you can do a conditional footer if you want also. You just need to use the max function and put the condition in there. There's also one other thing I want to fix, well, actually I did fix it already. I almost forgot that I fixed this picker right here, so we're good. So that's it. That's your conditional sub summaries. And don't pigeonhole it for just this. Think about how the technique works. Think about what we're doing here. Think about how you can use it. Apply it to a specific situation. If you ever need a condition based on a sub summary, you might be able to use this technique. In fact, I think I forgot one little thing here. Left some fields in there I didn't want. Yeah, we don't need these fields in there anymore. And you can replace those with summary fields. And then we probably should also make this look nice, put it inside the reports folder. There we go. So now we have a great little report. Again, don't pigeonhole it. Understand the technique. Understand how it works. Put the fields on the layout. See how it relates. And you could use it. I've used it for all kinds of things. You know, restarting sub-summary numbering. Like if I want to number my sub-summaries or the records within it and restart it. There's all kinds of things you can do that are pretty cool with this technique.